Okay, in this video, I'm going to explain to you how I used Replit to create a Copilot experience for Email Bison. What this Copilot allows you to do is to take actions based on almost any of the API endpoints that Email Bison has. If you don't know what Email Bison is, it's a new player in the email sequencing space that has been gaining a lot of attention and has definitely caught our attention that one way. It has a different pricing structure than most other email sequencers and is more cost-friendly, especially if you run an agency and you're sending emails at scale. And I would argue the biggest reason why most people are switching over to Email Bison is due to their APIs. So let me start sharing my screen just to show you how you can do this in the next 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, so what you're looking at is Email Bison. So if you just click on settings and then you go to developer API, I recommend you download the Postman collection. This allows you to then upload the API documentation into Replit. So an important disclosure that maybe I should have made right off the bat, but we built this inside of our own app. So what you're looking at is the app that we're building for our agency and our clients. And I just had this idea recently where I was like, is there a way for us to make the user experience of our employees a bit smoother when it comes to getting data about the campaigns that they're running or making slight changes that will require a bunch of clicks that they might be able to do pretty fast within the app. And they might not even need to use their fingers because now everyone's using tools like Whisper, for example, so that you can speak into your computer and just types things out. So I'm going to give you a quick demo, first of all, of what you can do. And then I'm going to show you very quickly how you can do it yourself as well. So if I click on build, it asks you to select which client. So again, right now what you're looking at is like a testing grounds. Obviously, this is not the published app. Then what I had baked into the user experience is examples of what you can do. And this is important for you watching this so you can get an idea of what you can do with this kind of project. So you can ask it to list the campaigns, to view analytics, to pause a campaign, update sending limits, view leads, check opportunities, manage Blacklist. This one's probably my favorite because sometimes you'll notice, especially if you're at an agency, you're on a call with one of your active clients and they're like, oh, by the way, like we need to update our DNC list. We really don't want to reach out to 1, 2, and 3. You can do it as you're sharing your screen because you're walking them through the performance of the campaigns. You can quickly input, let's add this person to the DNC, which I will show a live demo of this in a second. You can manage tags. Email Bison is very big on adding custom tags, obviously checking inbox and so on. Okay, let's do a quick example. I'm just gonna say, what are the active campaigns we have going on right now? And what we have also built inside our app is obviously our own API key. So in this case, we're using OpenAI's API key. So very quickly, I can get the active apps. And it's important to show you that this actually works. So I'm just going to go into campaigns. I'm going to click on active campaigns so you can see this. So we have 4 campaigns. You can see it listed 4 and it's the same campaigns. And now let's say I want to pause one of those campaigns. So I'm going to say, can you pause the first campaign? And it will always ask you if you're sure. So it's asking, you mean the one-way? Please confirm. Yes. So the Dream SaaS for SMB campaign is what we're about to pause, and it has been successfully paused. So just to show you that this actually works, if I refresh, don't panic, you need to refresh to show this. If I go now to active, it shows me 3 campaigns, and we can now see the campaign that's paused. And now let's say I want to turn it back on. I'm going to say, actually, let's turn it back on. It will also ask, it will confirm if that's what I want. Yes, and it's been successfully resumed. So now I think with resuming the campaign, it takes 2 refreshes, but I promise it does work because you can see here it's saying processing, right? You can see that. So if we now go to active, it should be showing up. There we go. If you give it a second, it's now going to say active. Let me just refresh one more time. And there it is. Okay, now let's say I want to ask it, can I see the 5 most recent interested leads? Let's just do that. Let's see. And this kind of acts like the MCP experience is just, I didn't want to create an MCP server because based on my knowledge of MCPs, like you need to do it locally on your computer, on like Claude, for example. Whereas I wanted my team to be able to have that experience online on the app. And we're actually working on making this a chat experience for our clients where our clients can log into the app. Because right now what you're seeing is the admin experience, but the client should be able to talk to Email Bison or to our app and ask questions about the performance. So let's see here. Yep. There we go. These are all the interested leads that came in. We have one from our own team because sometimes we test certain functionalities, just so you know. But now let's test the DNC list. So let's say I was testing this the other day. Let's say I don't want to reach out to my competitors. So like one competitor that comes to mind is this agency. We obviously don't want to reach out to another clay agency. That doesn't make sense. So I'm going to take them as an example. And then I'm going to go here. I'm going to say, can you add the kiln into our DNC list? Please confirm. Yes, I confirm. And then first, just to show you. So if you go to, I believe it's in settings, Blacklist DNC. By the way, with Email Bison, you can choose to block a specific email account or block any email from a specific domain. So if I go on here, you can see I was testing this out with 2 other clay agencies just to make sure it works. You can see the kiln is not here, so let's push this. Yes, I confirm. It has been successfully added, and there it is. So to me, I know some of you watching this might be like, what's the point? But the fact that you can do it, to me, is what's exciting. Like, it opens up the doors to so many things. You can obviously create campaigns and so on. And I do want to show you like all the potential use cases and how you can set this up for yourself. So give me one sec. Okay, we'll start a new chat. So inside of Replit, you have the option to either click on build or I always recommend you start with plan because you don't want Replit to be changing anything in your app. Again, I know this is assuming that you can do this because you already have your own app. But honestly, guys, if you're watching this specific video, there's a chance that you run your own agency and that you're sending a good amount of volume. So if you don't have your own app or client portal built in, I cannot recommend it enough, especially with tools like Replit or Lovable. Like it's very easy to do. So, okay, first, what you want to do is you would want to click on this button, upload a file, and upload the API documentation that I shared earlier. So if you make an account with Email Bison, which it might be tough for you to do because they only take on a specific type of people to join Email Bison, which is another pro of why I wanted to start playing around with Email Bison, and now we're migrating a lot of our accounts to it, is because they're very picky on who they onboard, which in turn allows the email warm-up pool to be that much higher quality because it's only specific agencies right now, that's their target audience, that they allow in their platform. So again, as a quick refresher, when you make your account in Bison, if you go to settings and then you go to developer API, just click on this and it will download it for you. There you go, you have it here. And then all you have to do is upload the file. So it's a JSON file. And then what I like to do always, I just find it helps with the hallucinations, is again, I make sure it's in the planning section, in the planning mode. So it will not take any action for you. You're just kind of having a conversation with it. That's the entire point. And you will ask it something like, can you read the API documentation I just attached? Okay, and we're gonna do this here. Okay, and there you go. You see it's giving you a breakdown to show you that it understands what it read. And then the next thing you want to do, I'll say this one more time just to make sure we're on the same page. I know this will only work if you have your own app or your own portal, which again is not difficult to set up at all. But then the next step is you just want to ask it, can you list all of the things that we can build into our app that allows our users to take action inside of Email Bison? So this is the list of all the things that you can do that we can do actually already in our app. We can create new campaigns straight from the app. So you can just ask it questions or you can tell it what you want it to do. You can duplicate campaigns, pause, resume, like the quick demo I showed you, ask it to clean up active campaigns, view campaign analytics. You can even add leads individually. So imagine you're on a call with a client and they're like, oh, we really want to add this lead into this campaign because we saw X, Y, and Z. Because sometimes clients are really great at, by the way, telling you like, oh, we want to go after this. I know most of the time you guys have to build your own lead list, but if there's any a situation where the client on the call, they're like, well, you know who would be a great fit? This guy, can we add him to the campaign? You just input it quickly. So then once it identifies all of the actionable items that you can do, so it's asking me, would you like me to build any of these features into your app? Now, this is the pro tip that I will share with you that allowed us to build this, Copilot experience into our app very fast within 30 to 45 minutes. But you want to force Replit to complete the tasks, the big tasks you want in phases. Okay, so you would want to tell it, I want you to implement every single actionable item into our app, but in order to not hallucinate, can you tell me how you would go about this big task in 5 phases, okay? It will now think, how will I do this job, phase 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? And then when you switch on the build mode, it will literally finish phase 1 and it will stop. And it will ask you, this is good, can I now move on to phase 2? And you'll say, yes, move on to phase 2. If you don't do it like this, it will make mistakes, especially for a big task like the one I'm showing you here. You don't want to take risks. You want to go step by step, and you want to be the human that's doing quality assurance and test every little feature that adds. Now, in this case, it obviously picked up on the fact that we already have all these features implemented, and it's actually the same workflow that it did when I asked it to do. If you were to do this yourself, it's really that simple. As long as you use any tool, for that matter, that has good API documentation. So if you're in the market and you hear of a tool that's really good because they have good APIs, I think that's a great signal for you to try to leverage it, because then you can build it into your own application. And that's what we're really excited about doing here at 1away. And that's why we're really excited about using Email Bison, is because the API endpoints just allow us to do so many more things that we couldn't do before, including having this kind of like customized Copilot experience that we can add for our team and also our clients. And again, next thing you need to do is just change to the build and then say proceed. I'm obviously not going to do that. And then one thing to note is, for something like this, obviously if you can afford it, I would recommend selecting the autonomous max setting. It's going to cost a lot more money, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it's quite cheap for a use case like this. It reduces the need for you to troubleshoot. What I love about Replit as well, I know this sounds like it's almost like a sponsored video. It's not. I wish it was. But it has app testing included. So you will see Replit. It's amazing. Like, it will click through the app to make sure that the features work. So there you have it, guys. This is how you can build your own Copilot experience with Email Bison. I'll be making more videos covering Email Bison, especially starting in January, as we are sending more and more volume for ourselves and for our clients. I mean, just to show you a quick sneak peek, right now, we're getting almost 4% reply rates from our own campaign, like for our agency. And we managed to get 66 interested leads within the last 30 days. So that's an 8.2 roughly, or 8.1, let's call it, percent interested reply rate. One thing about Bison is your emails will land in the inbox if you're checking all of the boxes that you're supposed to do, especially as a growth agency. But yeah, we've been really impressed with this tool. We're really excited to build on top of the tool. I think there's a lot of things that we can do. Some things I can't talk about just yet, but this is just a quick sneak peek that I wanted to show you guys of what you can do, because they have such good API endpoints. And as always, if you like these kind of videos, definitely make sure to subscribe. Leave a comment down below if there's something else you'd want to see us build with Bison. I think myself and the team would find it really exciting to tackle on any challenge you send our way. And I will see you next week.